There's more to fixing amps than swapping tubes. I'm Patrick and I fix amps at Chicago Fretworks. I got into repairing amps because I wanted my gear to sound like certain sounds I heard on recordings or at live shows. Most of the education came from experience, just tearing into it. Whether it's modern or vintage, they all have similar components. They all have a power supply, they all have some kind of filtering, they all have a preamp, and they all have a power amp section. Some problems are obvious, other problems are more subjective. Determining how an amp is supposed to sound comes from experience. As I've played or worked on, or both, almost every model, it definitely helps to be a musician to repair amps because there's a certain touch sensitivity that's inherent to tube amplifiers. You should know how it feels as well as how it sounds, how hard you play, how the amp reacts when you play soft, and how the amp sounds when you dig in. I also have my own clientele from playing blues for 17 years here in Chicago. I've built amplifiers for Eddie the Chief Clearwater and Dan Corelli of Billy Branch. We occasionally have touring bands that come through. Last summer we worked on a couple amps for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Between my personal customers and the shop's customers, we're always busy. You would never plug an electric guitar straight into a mixing board. The amp is half the sound. You know, it's not the part that you hold in your hand, so it doesn't get quite as much attention, but there's definitely a symbiotic relationship, and when you find the right combination, you're probably not going to be content to use a substitute. You're going to want that amp with that guitar. The sound that's in your head, that's what I'm looking for all the time with my bass and my amplifier setup. We want to help you get that sound.